This video is going to be about the cQ-SSL Banded Moving Average and the cQ-SSL Malibu Banded Moving Average. This up here, this is the SSL Banded Moving Average, and it's essentially the SSL with a moving average inside, and if it breaks above the upper band, it draws a blue dot. Goes below the lower band, it draws an orange dot. Probably the first thing you want to do when you load this indicator is just do something like this. This may look like a lot of parameters, but what I've added in this version, it will automatically save these current parameters to whatever file name you put here. And you can then, I have another version over here, which is the no parameters version, which I'll show you in a second. And it will load these parameters. If you're using Expert Advisor, it will read the file and load it when it's initialized, just one time. And then you don't have to pass all these parameters. This one is used to find the setting, and you can use the no parameter version in an Expert Advisor. There's also a histogram version which doesn't have any parameters as well. I'll show you that one. Right now this is set, well here we'll make some changes. We'll set this to 20, this to 14, just so you can see what it does. This is now the default. If I go here, and then we load the no parameter version, it's going to read this default file that was saved in the non-parameter version. That's what it looks like. Okay, and now I'm going to turn this one off, but you can see where it was, and I'll turn this other one back on. So you can see that it's basically has the same parameters stuck in there. That's the exact same parameters, so that will save you a lot of overhead when you're using this indicator or an Expert Advisor. I will be adding it to, or updating other indicators I have with this. I'd also like to mention this indicator here, which is the price scaler. It's on the website. And basically what it does is if you look at the chart and you're trying to figure out how to get your volume indicator set up, this will help you determine, for example, that you can see that this looks like it's moving a lot further than pip-wise than it actually is. So obviously this looks like a good move. Nothing. That might trigger something, but this is nothing especially. But if you look at it here, it really looks like it's moving a lot. So this can help you with that. I did update the vertical line indicator as well and the horizontal line indicator. So they're not up yet, but I will be putting them up fairly soon. This period here can control the SSL as well as the moving average, but there's also another place you could change the period. You can make it shorter or longer. If you want to use this period for your moving average, which you have all these types, you can just set this, you set this to 1, and it will use this period here unless you're on these like the half trend, which it uses 1. If you're on half trend, then it will use this, or you can set it to 1 here. But otherwise, this set to 1, it will use this period up here. The other thing that I added is you can change the mode, and these are the 4 modes that really seem to work. The other ones, that has some interesting things, but from what I can tell at this point, these seem to be the best ones. SMA seems to work really well. I did add this detection period, which what it will do is if you use a slower detection, it will, here let's let's put this to 1, and or it crosses right here and right here, for example. We can change this, we can make it shorter, say turn this off, and you'll get more crosses. So sometimes having more crosses works better. You just have to try it out and see what works with your system. But that's what this detection is. This multiplier here, what it does, it's also used in the detection, and you can see how it instead of having all these in here, you now only have a couple here. So you can mess around with that. I'll put it back to this. And then this ATR height period and the ATR height inverted period. For example, right now this is set to 1, or we can set it to 0. It can see how much closer things are. Sometimes adding this will winds it up. It gives you a little more breathing room. You can also set it like, say, to 4, and then you have this inverted period, which here, I'll put it to 4. And then you have the inverted period. We'll put it to like 2.5. And it moves it closer. So, what I'm trying to get is I'm trying to get these more impulsive moves and get rid of this sideways action. That's the idea. With that in mind, you can use this function if you want, or you can 1 on the height period and 0 on the inverted period. And the other thing, here's the ATR minimum level, and that's, if you see right here, over here, it's basically the distance from this line to that line. I'm just going to make it really big. 2, see, it pushes it out, so you can also get rid of a lot of sideways action at the cost of getting in sooner. So, but that's one way to do it. We'll turn it off for now. You can turn, this will just not show the moving average, and you'll just get the dots. Change the period here. This is the trade entry. I'm on the 1 hour. And with this, again, this is more of a confirmation. It's not really a baseline. It's a confirmation indicator. Having it cross back over the baseline, I had trouble with getting that to work. So that's why I'm just calling it a banded moving average, SSL, banded moving average. So, but you can change this, to whatever works. And this MA candle must agree with trend. So we can find one. What it does is, you see this candle here, we're in a downtrend. There's your first orange dot. This candle is up. And so if you don't want this candle because it's going in the opposite direction, you can set this to yes, and see how the dot turns red. So this is just too far away, but this is going the wrong direction, so you don't get in on that candle. But we'll turn it off for now because I want to show you this other one, which this is just a minimum ATR level, and I have it set to 200. 0.85. What it will do is it takes the ATR of the past 200 candles, multiplies it by 0.85, and if the ATR isn't greater than that, then it will print a red dot. So if you have this set, and you'll see some red dots on places where you go, there shouldn't be a red dot there, but it's because of this. Okay, what I'll do is I'll make it a little larger just so you can see that it does do that. See? So, got rid of a lot of them, but that's what that does. And then these are just the moving average parameters, and then you have the basic stuff down here. And both these indicators also have a histogram version, which I'll show you with this version here. This is the SSL Malibu Banded Moving Average, and this one uses the iHigh function and iLow function to create these boxes. And you generally have to run it a little bit shorter, but I've also done a few things. I mean, you can have a different moving average in there, any of these. And right here, what this is doing, it will go back 10 candles and look for the highest ATR, and it's going to use the high of whatever that candle is. That's the high that it will use to draw these bands. And then the low is very similar. Right here it will go through these past 10 periods, look for the lowest low, or if you say you had the lowest volume, and it will use the low of that candle and insert it here. We'll just see what this comes out as. You can get a lot of different things. And see how you have all this scrunched up here? That sometimes happens. That's why I have these two multipliers here, which right now, we'll put one and see what it does. It widens this. It's adding 1 times the ATR to the up and the down bands. So if you had something that was asymmetrical, you could then turn this off, and then you could put this to 2. And it will move it a little further. Just sometimes they come out that way. There's a variety. You can use the middle. This would be for the low. You would search the past 10 candles, and then you would find the close that's in the middle between the highest and the lowest, and you would use the low of that candle. That's what that means. Same thing with the ATR and the volume and any of these settings here. I'll be including some presets that you can try, and I really should also mention probably the first thing you want to do when you load this indicator is just do something like this. Temp 2, temp whatever, make up some number, or just something so that when you start changing these values and then you find something that you like, you're not going to override it. So, like say you like this one, and you will call it Alma 7 or 7. And now it's in a file, and I'll show you where that is. But before I do, the other thing you do when you find a setting that you like and you have this set, go down here and then just save a preset of it. These are saved in 2 different areas. The presets are saved in the preset area. It's a little binary file, and it is saved, like if you get the names of, you open the data folder, you go to here, files, okay, and we're on this one. That's the file that it's going to use. And if you wanted to use the no parameter version, that's the file it's going to load, and you can use that in your expert advisors. And like I said, it will only load the parameters 1 time, and you can still call it. You just don't have to pass any parameters, which it's not pushing anything on the stack or anything. It doesn't have to push it and pull it off and everything. All the parameters are set. So these settings are pretty much the same. The minimum value will, for example, we'll put this up to 2 again, and you can see that it, like if you watch right here, moves it up. So that's the minimum distance that it would be around, which 2 is too high. But I also have this maximum candle height. It's using the absolute value of the open minus the close, which I found seemed to be more useful than the high and low. And what it will do is if it's over a 5-period ATR times 1.5, it will give you a red dot. The whole idea, again, is to find the impulsive moves, the moves that are actually doing something. It's not really that great for just slow-moving stuff. It's like you just want to get in for, like if you're on the hour, 3, 4, 5 hours or whatever, and then you're out. That's what I think I've been trying to do with this particular indicator. It also has the candle must agree with the trend, and it has the minimum ATR if you want to use those. And oh, forgot, if the high price is using the high ATR, this is the period that it uses to calculate the high ATR. If you want to just use one, for example, it's going to go each candle, it will definitely give you a different result. And the same thing with the volume, if you were to use the volume, or you could use this volume, whatever, it'll give you again a different result. So I'll load the histogram version. Let's see it's this. Is that what it's called? Okay, if you put this, draw a line on here, oops. It lines up, that's, okay, so, and like I said, this is the histogram version, then there's also the no parameters version, but it puts it up here, so you can use either one in the Expert Advisor. It's all up to you, but for the most part, that's it.